Hello, I'm the Angry Spork. There are two entertainment properties that made big waves in America, which owe their origins or inspiration to Japanese culture. One played on a martial arts trend with a satirical slant, while the other took footage of people in suits play-fighting each other. I definitely watched Power Rangers as a kid, up until they started driving around in go-karts and they added a 12-year-old to the team. I have a nostalgic fondness for the Mighty Morphin era, but haven't had any personal investment in the franchise since I grew out of it. If you're still a fan, that's cool. Enjoy it all you want. Heck, I watch Linkar's History of Power Rangers videos in part because I enjoy his analysis. I'd heard that Boom Studios Comics, which focused on the original team of Jason, Kimberly, Trini, Zach, Billy, and Tommy, have been actually really good. Never had the opportunity to see for myself for financial reasons. Today, we begin looking at the first miniseries which had these teenagers with attitude meet another group of martial artists whose mentor doesn't spend all his time in a jar. I'm taking issue with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers / Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So let's see if these comics make us want to turn the page or turn our heads. Issue 1's cover is really good, our titular teams charging through the street. Having defeated their usual enemies, the Turtles and the Rangers join forces to defeat a far more sinister menace: jaywalkers. Guess the heroes in the half shell don't care about getting spotted by normals anymore. Written by Ryan Parrott, with art by Simone DeMeo, Walter Baiamonte, and Igor Monti, we begin with several panels of iconic spots from both franchises. The Turtles' lair, the Angel Grove juice bar, Rita Repulsa's moon base, and likely a foot hideout. Each locale shows signs of struggle, namely our heroes' weaponry stuck in the floor or furniture. Except for Michelangelo's nunchaku, they look rather neatly placed over that chair. He actually put them there while he used the restroom, ended up missing the entire fight. Narration opines that no one knows you better than those you grew up with whom you faced loss and victory, even when you fight or drift apart, creating a bond much like family. It sounds all philosophically sweet, and perhaps there's some truth to it, but personal experience tells me this is not entirely accurate, but I digress. We go to the Rangers fighting a squad of putty patrollers and a tendril monster called Apocalyptopus, having already wrecked a portion of the street and threatening far worse than a couple of crushed cars.
With my arrival, the buildings will crumble and the trees will turn to ash. The sky will be dark as coal and my favorite show will get cancelled. Bad days ahead, we get it.
And so Apocalyptopus was immediately made president of Warner Brothers Studios. Is he pulling a vase out of a portal he created? I guess that's one way to shoplift from Pottery Barn. Zach asks Kimberly where her boyfriend is, and she responds that she neither knows nor cares, and that Tommy isn't her boyfriend. Yeah, I hear he's more into Australian blondes these days. All the flips and appendage slicing aren't doing much against a regenerating mollusk, so Jason suggests they form the Power Blaster, where all their weapons, with standard dramatic declarations, are strategically placed to create a cannon which they subsequently use to obliterate the monster, a defeat that not often happened in the show, as I recall. We jump to New York City, where the Turtles are fighting Foot Ninja on a roof, while speculating what they'd like most if they were human. Leo settles on hair, but it's clear he doesn't really think about it much. Mikey picks shoes, and Donatello chooses having 5 fingers. That way there's less ambiguity whether he's pointing upward or giving people the finger. Raphael, however, picks nothing, turtle pride and all that. But Mike and Donnie figure he's lying since he wears more clothes than any of them.
Hey, Playmates made us all wear Star Trek costumes and basketball jerseys, you hypocrites!
He goes on to make short work of most of the Foot until one pretty boy whom he unmasks, revealing him as Tommy Oliver. He gets a couple good hits on Raph that send him to the ground, before declaring, "Ninja, vanish!" and throwing down a smokescreen as they escape.
Did that dude just say ninja vanish? Aren't they supposed to just do it?
Only if the Foot really wanted to get sued by Nike. Raphael insists that one Foot just got lucky, and after his brothers joke around what to call the goon that shoryukened him, he walks back his earlier statement a bit. One good thing about being human is that he wouldn't be stuck living with them. You wouldn't say that if you priced apartments in Manhattan these days. Leo tells Don and Mike to lay off as we go to the juice bar, where Trini laments how they're always the ones saving the world. She recently failed a test, her teacher claiming she wasn't prepared. No duh, she was busy fighting space monsters.
So what? We should just let the bad guys win so we can make honor roll?
Jason, of course not. That'd be as stupid as starting a clothing line featuring quotes from murderous dictators of history.
Yeah, I tried to avoid referencing Austin St. John's questionable business ventures, but looks like I just couldn't do it. In all seriousness, I think the dude should seek some counseling. Zach concurs, given how stressful it can be being the last line of defense all the time.
How do all the world's armed forces keep beating us to saying not it for every monster attack?
Kimberly is at the command center asking about Tommy's whereabouts. It's been weeks since he said he had to take care of some family issues, and there's been no contact since, not through their phones or team communicators. Unfortunately, they can't track him through the morphing grid unless he, well, morphs, which he hasn't, suggesting he may not be in danger, only in need of privacy. Kim is concerned that he might be grabbed by Rita Repulsa fighting an evil doppelganger in an alternate timeline, or trying to return a busted stereo at Walmart with a sullen clerk that doesn't want to be there, in a long line at Chipotle, behind several people who don't know what they want yet, or watching a Metal Gear Solid ending cinematic. Any of these on their own could be taking up his time. Zordon shares her concern, but is confident the Green Ranger can take care of himself. We return to the Big Apple, where Karai is clarifying the origins of the Foot Clan to its members, how a man named Takashi Tatsuo had been defeated, hanging on by a thread, his failure marked by footprints of his own blood. He learned from his setbacks and conquered his enemies, a lesson that they should all take heart as they are part of the very clan he founded. They should be thankful for their defeats and their injuries, as these will forge them into the weapons of their enemies' defeat, so should consider the turtles a blessing.
Yeah!
She later pulls Tommy aside for a rooftop one-on-one, commending his efforts to save several foot, and has a special task for him courtesy of her master. Before she clarifies, she wants to know what Tommy Marshall wants and who he is.
I get this every time. No, I am not related to Penny Marshall.
He says that all his life, friends and family alike have thrown him aside, and the world took care of everyone but him. Then he heard about the Foot Clan, who fight not only to survive, but also for what is theirs. He wants more out of life, and is always up for a fight.
Hey you, let's fight. Them's fighting words.
Seemingly satisfied with his answer, Karai sends him on a mission, infiltrating a technology company, one with very minimal security apparently, and retrieves a component with ease, only to find the turtles waiting for him, and judging his stealth skills, Raph naturally giving him the lowest score.
Real ninjas move in silence like lasagna. 4.
Raph's got a point, you never hear lasagna move. They charge to attack, only to be interrupted by Tommy morphing into the Green Ranger.
Raph, you realize there's no ninja in lasagna, right?
Come on, Donnie, think about it. The G is both silent and provides the skill of misdirection by sounding like a Y. This comic just proved that an Italian dish is totally ninja.
Have you monsters been following me this whole time?
They're monsters!
Come on, name calling? No need to be rude, dude.
Not monsters.
As their fight ensues, Donatello points out that the energy cell he's stealing was only being developed by 2 facilities in the city, the one they're currently in, and the one the Foot tried breaking into the previous night. Tommy avoids one of Leonardo's attacks.
Too slow, turtles!
Geez, way to hit him below the monogrammed belt buckle. Raph intervenes for a second round with the Ranger, seeming to take some solace in that the suit gives him superpowers as he knocks him to the ground, and admits to enjoying this rematch. Up above, the other Rangers are teleported to the roof, since Alpha 5 picked up Tommy's energy signature when he morphed.
A rooftop? Why is it always a rooftop?
Would you rather be teleported to the check-in desk and deal with snooty looks from an uptight secretary? That's when Tommy busts through a wall in front of the team, who get a good look at his opponents.
Somebody called for backup. Heh. Good.
Gosh, I do hope there's more of them.
Assuming the turtles are creations sent by Rita, the teams charge each other in an epic 2-page spread, with their respective battle cries. I might not care about Power Rangers much anymore, but yeah, this is pretty awesome. Even though I question that they'd yell out "Go, go," feels like a corny stretch to reference the theme song, but perhaps I'm just being nitpicky. Their respective leaders exchange sword swings and compliments. Nerd Donatello asks Nerd Blue Ranger if they're aliens, if their powers are magical, and how the Green Ranger plays a flute through a metal faceplate. Shut up, that's how! Mikey actually broaches a more productive question to the Black Ranger, as well as getting in a solid hit. If the Power Rangers are the good guys like they've been purported to be, why are they working for the Shredder? A name which Zack does not recognize. Here's a question. Zack says ow after his helmet, made of alien technology, is hit by a wooden metal-tipped nunchuck made in the sewers of New York. What's up with that? Tommy somehow has managed to slink away from the fighting with the energy cell, but Kimberly confronts him, wanting to know what's going on. They dissipate their helmets to talk more face-to-face, as he says he tried not to involve the team, and as big an ask as it is, he needs her to trust him. She agrees, letting him go as their helmets reform, but Raph has other ideas. Kim intercepts him, backed up by the Yellow Ranger, who's finally decided to show herself, but hey, maybe she was being all stealthy like Raph up to now, allowing Tommy to leave. The battle continues, watched from several blocks away by Karai, who confirms the green one carries the item Shredder seeks, and he apparently knew Tommy was a ranger the whole time. He started one of those YouTube Shorts channels that just casually ask viewers to mention in the comments where they live, when's their birthday, and then it was just playing the waiting game. Seriously, don't give your personal info online for games or stuff like that. That's how scammers get you. Anyway, Karai had apparently not yet earned the confidence to be told the secret of Tommy's identities, and the issue ends in a splash page of Shredder anticipating Tommy bringing him what he needs to bring the Power Rangers under his command. Issue 2's cover has the teams charging again, though against a split backdrop of Angel Grove and New York, and the turtles all looking taller, leaner, and more aggressive. Especially Donnie. Wow, he really wants to know how Tommy plays that dagger through metal. We basically pick up where we left off in the fight, with various shots of weapons clashing, showing switched-up opponents, and the turtles asking why their green ally was working for the Foot. And apparently they know about how Tommy used to be evil thanks to Donnie being a fanboy. Turtle. Fan turtle? His fanfiction ships are surprisingly tasteful. Realizing the Shellbacks are in fact not Rita's creations, Jason calls time out on the brawl in tandem with Leonardo so they can clear the air. When the Channel 6 news copter closes in, they all decide to leave, and later April O'Neil is on site, reporting the Foot Clan's theft, though details are being withheld, and she mentions the Power Rangers were allegedly spotted before signing off. Her cameraman Vernon points out she failed to talk about the turtles, which she brushes off, saying that there's no proof they were actually there, and he seems almost threatening in suggesting people will find out about them eventually. I may be wrong, and he could just be giving a realistic warning about April's limited capacity in hiding their existence without any intended malice, but his initial statement pointing out that she didn't bring them up kind of cancels out him being part of their inner circle. Beneath the earth and beyond the laws of man lies the Technodrome, where they loiter in parking lots and broadcast Major League Baseball games without express written consent. Tommy has been given the rare honor to not only be permitted entry, but also an audience with the Shredder. He gives him the energy cell he purloined, an offering to join the ranks of the clan's Jonin, and it's accepted, meaning his new life now belongs to Oroku Saki. Meanwhile, the Rangers have been advised by Zordon, off-panel I guess, to trust the Turtles enough to break the one rule they never break. Oh no, they're gonna talk about Fight Club! They reveal their faces and names, Donatello noting they're regular people, but Mikey suggests 2 are above average. And so the Rangers begin beating the snot out of each other to see which one of them he was talking about. That's why you don't talk about Fight Club! And in case you're curious, this statement is never called back to, so I suppose it's meant to be humorously ambiguous or something. With the sun about to rise, they head to the sewers for further introductions on their way to their lair. It's not long before they're joined by April, chastising them for being nearly exposed while fighting the Power Rangers. who finally noticed Splinter sitting in the corner. Considering it an honor to host the colorful heroes, the large rat apologizes for his son's presumptuous behavior and asks how they can be assistants to a team that have helped so many. Don't suppose you know how to change the oil on a 10-story tall robotic dinosaur, do you? Several foot are practicing against dummy turtles when one is pulled into a broom closet by Tommy. This is his old friend Tyler, whom he's trying to get out of the clan for his own sake. Turns out Tyler's stepdad called about his disappearance, getting mixed up in a martial arts cult despite not seeing Tommy in years, because I guess he didn't think the police were worth a ring.
I don't know why people are always bad-mouthing the Mafia.
Tommy tries explaining that these are domestic terrorists he's gotten involved with, and will explain more later, only to be tasered into submission by his old friend, his own offering to the Shredder. At the Channel 6 offices, Kimberly is posing as April's intern, tasked with looking through the network's tip feed with any reports that may coincide with the Foot Clan's activities, so they can find the errant ranger. Kim thanks the reporter for helping, despite not knowing her and her friends, but April's just glad to help out.
Unrelated, I happen to have this old jumpsuit I don't use anymore, and I noticed your friend Trini likes yellow.
Back in the lair, Turtle Nerd asks Human Nerd if he noticed his robot Metalhead. Huh? Oh yeah, very cool. We got one of those too. Except ours talks like a higher-pitched Steve Urkel. Still better than the one that sounds like a deep-voiced woman pretending to be from the street. Billy is trying to tweak a Geiger counter to detect the unique radiation emitted by their morphers in order to track Tommy, while a not-so-subtle Don is trying to show off the stuff he built from sewer scraps, like a miniaturizing ray, rocket skateboards, and so on. And look at his face light up when the Blue Ranger invites him to help work on the Megazord, though he seems to take that as an offer to drive it, which that kind of wasn't, but hey, let the turtle dream. Besides, the interaction is still downright delightful. Meanwhile, informed by the Channel 6 tip thread, Trini, Zack, and Jason join the other three turtles in crashing a Foot hideout while Karai is prepping some goons. And they're so ninja, they broke the glass without any accompanying sound effect. Yellow Ranger snarks a question if the mutants fight kids in pajamas all the time. No, of course not. Not since Bobby McGavin's 10th birthday sleepover took an unexpected turn. Raph clarifies they fought dimension-hopping rock soldiers and the Rat King's army of rodents. What they do isn't that far off from what the Rangers do, only it goes unseen, except in rare occasions where any who spot them run off screaming. Zack and Michelangelo are on the roof, taking care of some other goons, who I guess were escaping, and talking about their favorite pizza toppings. The Ranger's preference for lots of pineapple is considered gross by the anthropomorphic terrapin that lives in a sewer, whose favorite he narrows down to jelly beans, onions, and butterscotch. I'm gonna be honest, Michelangelo. You had me at jelly beans. That's just disgusting. Onions? I mean, really? Leo and Jason have their hands full taking on Karai, and they have a friendly debate over the proper way to counter her Musashi technique. Jigen Ryu being too chaotic, Iaijutsu being suitable for the turtle, but Trini thinks they're overthinking it and just bonks her in the noggin with, I'm pretty sure, kettlebell.
Skull, cracked, brains leaking out. Can't wait to see new Chevy Chase movie.
After she's tied up and her minions incapacitated, she mocks Tommy's efforts to infiltrate her clan on his own, refusing to lead them to the Technodrome, and that they're already too late. Well, she did just take weight equipment to her skull. Maybe she just can't remember where her base is anymore. Tommy awakens caged in a Technodrome lab, Shredder revealing he knows who he is and why he's here, so any further attempts to play a confused but loyal soldier won't work. The villain's allies in Dimension X have considerable familiarity with the Power Rangers, so our spy takes that as a cue to morph into the Green Ranger, daring Shredder to open his prison so they can duke it out. One imagines he might be able to use any of his weapons to bust out, but whether or not he could, Orokusaki instead takes a small box-shaped device with the stolen energy cell installed and fires a wave of energy at the Ranger, demorphing him as well as knocking him out again. He's a prisoner of the enemy and his friend betrayed him, but all that aside, Tommy's gonna be so well rested. In her moon palace, Rita Repulsa senses a disturbance in the Force, the Morphin Grid.
Power is changing. The universe is in flux.
Well, we hit a little snag when the universe sort of collapsed on itself.
Having possessed the green power coin for so long, until giving it to Tommy when he was first brainwashed to be evil, she can detect that someone powerful has taken possession of it, so takes all her minions with her to retrieve it. Not just her warrior Goldar, but Monster Maker Finster and dopey goon Squat and Babu, suggesting not all of them will return alive. Guess she wants some cannon fodder just in case. Walking through a portal, they first encounter Bebop and Rocksteady.
These guys are even uglier than we are.
Maybe we don't make fun of the men with the guns. They have bandoliers of ammo, grenades, and a baseball bat, but no guns. I think Babu needs to trade in that monocle for a good pair of prescription glasses. Shredder shows himself, having been warned Rita or someone like her may interfere, but the Empress of Evil isn't interested in formalities, instead demanding the power coin.
Return it to me, or I will belt this entire monstrosity to the ground.
But it's already underground. Does someone hit her with a kettlebell too? Shredder responds by yelling Dragon Zord, transforming into a personalized variant of the Green Ranger, welcoming the witch's attempt to take the coin. And however they explain next issue why the suit is different and more Shredder-like, it looks freaking awesome. Good thing purple and green work so well together. It's been a fun ride so far, our heroes bonding quickly after a misunderstanding, and now the power of the Green Ranger is wielded by a ruthless ninja warlord. Tune in next week to see if he mops the floor with Goldar or makes donuts in a parking lot using the Dragon Zord. I'm the Angry Spork, and man, have I got issues.